This is 157 square metre, 3-bedroom home built on a sloping backyard of a subdivided section. Coming up, we'll show you footage of the build from start to finish. I'll break down the design and we'll discuss elements of the build in detail. Stick around to the end of the video to see this amazing finished home and the views from the lounge window. So I first met the clients back in 2020. One of the first questions they asked me was, is it possible and are they crazy for thinking that they could build a house in their backyard? I thought it was definitely possible and could see how we could get to work. I had some previous experience on sloping sites and knew that while there were some challenges with this one, it wasn't as hard as some of the other places we'd built. The site sat in Papakowhai and had a fantastic view of the Mana Inlet. It sloped down the hill. It also had a really tight dog driveway that was going to make getting materials in and out quite hard. Before we get into action on site, we get a site survey. Here you can see the topographical survey for the section. You can see the existing dwelling and the existing garage and the timber deck. The garage had to get removed and the timber deck had to get cut back. You can see that at the top of the driveway it is 117 above sea level, and then down here around where we're building the house is 114. That means that this section here is 3 meters lower than this section here. There's an existing driveway that we kept for as long as possible while building, but basically this is the area here where the new proposed dwelling is going to go. You've got lot 1 existing dwelling. This still gets great north facing sun and its own views, and then you can see here lot 2 sitting down much lower, filling in the gaps. This is the earthworks plan. You can see here where we are going to have to do a cut, and then here where we have to do a fill, and here's a nice little 3D perspective of that. So we got to work on site. We want to do as much as we can to prepare the building platform. And because our clients were living in the existing house, we need to make sure that half of the property is safe, secure, and livable so that we can do our work down in lot 2 and they can live in lot 1. Over here on the engineering plans, you can see the details for the retaining wall we had to build along the back. We were using 200mm SED timber poles. Here we've got the pole, we've got the retaining boards, we've got the drainage detail. This here is a bird's eye view showing you the pole spacings. This little table here shows us that we need to have a maximum slope of 5 degrees, a minimum slope of 3 degrees. The poles need to be at least 2 meters into the ground, and the minimum augured size is 400 mils. The boards on the back are also called whalers, and they are 50mm rough sawn timber. And here's a nice little picture of how it will look once we've finished it, including the balustrade. And this is important: whenever a retaining wall is more than 1 meter high, you need to include a balustrade like this or a full barrier to make sure people don't fall over the edge. Along the front of the building, we also had to do a massive footing, and that's this detail here, and we had to drill 400mm deep holes, fill them with concrete and metal. Then we poured a footing that we could then do the block wall foundation off. Then we backfilled all of that. Then we could do a riprap slab following this detail here. All these circles here are where we had to drill holes. This is a great picture showing you the cross section of the completed foundation. Now that the slab is down, the house can start to take shape. And if you want to watch more of our houses taking shape, go ahead and click subscribe before we take a look at the floor plan. Taking a look at the floor plan here, you can see the double garage. This is closest to the driveway. Coming through, kitchen is in the center of the home. What I like about this design is that the master is on one side of the building and the kids' bedrooms are on the other side. And in the center, you've got this open plan living, kitchen, dining with these amazing views out to the Mana Inlet. Also has an inbuilt study nook just over here to the left of the breakfast bar. Master wing has an ensuite walk-in wardrobe, and just off the kitchen here, you have a laundry that doubles as a bit of a storage area as well. And you have a separate loo and bathroom. So pre-nail frames get delivered to site and go up. Here we can see that there is approximately 44 pieces of framing. They come delivered and ideally have been stacked so that we can peel them out. Here's a great example. The bundles coming out of the pre-nail. Green is bundle 1, pink is bundle 2, blue is bundle 3. We'll pick a place to start, usually the longest, straightest wall. Using grid lines on the foundation, we will make sure that all of the bottom plates of the frames are straight, and then they all get shot to the ground. From here, we will brace them up with temporary bits of timber, and we will make the corners plumb, and then we will make all of the tops nice and straight as well. And then from here, we have a bunch of lintel fixings that need to go in. A lintel is a beam that goes above a door or a window opening and spreads the load from the roof to the sides of that and sends it down to the foundation. And so wherever we put a lintel, we have to put lintel fixing, and we follow this guide here. These are the fixings that we are allowed to use. L1, L2, L3, L4, and L4 needs to be 14 kilonewtons. L1 only has to be 1.4 kilonewtons. This is all about uplift, and wherever you have an opening, you are stopping the building getting lifted upwards. So trusses come to site in packs as well, and you would start with one of your main trusses in the middle, and you would work your way out from there. And just like our lintel fixing plan, we have a truss fixing layout, and this shows us exactly what fixings we need to use to hold the roof together. Again, this is predominantly about uplift and making sure that your roof doesn't blow away. You're connecting the roof to the top plate to the stud to the bottom plate to the foundation. All of the components of the house are getting tied together to become one unit. Once we've done the roof framing, we can crack on with roofing. Roof goes down, and this is a great milestone on site because it means that we have a covered area to work inside, and it's a very visual milestone. The house is starting to become enclosed. We start our pre-clad, and in this scenario here we used rab board. It helps with two things. It helps with the bracing of the building, noise and insulation. So rab goes on, all of the joints get taped up. We then crack on with cavity battens, put the windows in, window flashings, and we are ready to finish off the weatherboards. We use a mixture of linear weatherboard and vertical linear oblique. Once weatherboards go on, we can paint the outside, drop the scaffold. Now the house is what we call closed in. The outside of the building is complete, and we can crack on with things inside. We get to work with a pre-wire and pre-plumb, putting pipes and wires in the wall before we put insulation in. We line the house with jib plasterboard. Plasterer comes in, builder comes back, puts on the skirtings and architraves, and then we can paint the inside. Now it's moving from a house and turning into a home. Once we've done the painting, we can crack on with kitchen and flooring. This is a really exciting time where we get to start to see the finishing touches and the final look. The choices that the clients made, the colors, everything is starting to come together. While our trades are working inside, we move back outside, we crack on with the deck, we put the driveway down, we do as much as we can to finish off the outside while our trades are working on the inside. This is another garage where we've gone for plywood instead of jib. It's all about working out how you're going to use these spaces. The clients have chosen a pre-made balustrade system, and it'll just go in there, and then those two panels will go along there. Man, look at that view out there. It's such an amazing sight. And to think this was just before someone's kind of like sloping backyard that wasn't really used. And we've even got power. Boom. It all comes together, we apply for code of compliance, we pass our final inspection, and we hand over the keys to our happy owners who have gone from having one house on one section to having two houses in two sections. This is a really exciting subdivision to be a part of, and I really enjoyed the process. And one of the things that always blew me away when I went to site was the amazing views. If you've got a section like this and you're thinking of subdividing, reach out. We would love to be involved in the process.